Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This is the spoiler review. I have a review up on my blog, soundofbettermyhead.com. Pretty much no spoilers on that one if you want to check that out instead, or first, or however you want to do it. I end up going a 3.5 out of 5. I kind of contemplated giving this a 4 out of 5, but in the end, I don't think it deserved it. This movie's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's a pretty long ass movie, and it really doesn't feel like that long of a movie. It moves pretty briskly. There's a ton of action sequences, action after action after action. There's some lulls in there for dialogue and whatever in the plot, but there's so much action. There's a lot of really intense moments that it doesn't feel like the movie's quite that long. And looking back at it, though, they could have definitely trimmed a lot of stuff out and got this movie a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter. The plot's really not too different than any other of these Mission Impossible movies. There's a bad guy out there. He's got something that's pretty much bad for the rest of the world, and Ethan Hunt and his team got to go and stop him. Thing they've done a ton of times, and that just leads to like all kinds of crazy shenanigans and wearing masks and wild stunts, and all this stuff's done well here. I thought the opening sequence on the submarine had like a ton of tension. The only thing that hurt is I didn't buy that there was an American sub attacking them. I felt like the computer was fucking with them. I did like the way they twisted it, that they were basically tricked into shooting themselves. But I said the whole scene was pretty intense. Obviously, it's weird watching it because you get the callbacks in your mind to the whole Titan submersible imploding, not too long ago. So it's kind of weird watching some guys die in a submarine. Thought the first big chase sequence was great. And it just keeps escalating. He's driving you got one person in the car, Tom Cruise on a motorcycle. Then they're both in a car with no doors. And then they're in this little tiny car, and there's a tank-like car chasing them, and all these other cars chasing them. They're going down steps. It's all well done. It's a solid chase sequence, and there's always a little something that like bumps it up, completely blows everything out of the water. In that recent Indiana Jones movie, like this is how a good car chase, street chase is done. Again, I think there's a section where they could have trimmed it down. I think you could have taken like maybe even the middle car chase sequence out of it. But I mean, nothing against action. But if you're trying to trim this movie down, you could actually got away with a little bit less, I think. The whole Venice stuff was actually not as cool as I thought it was going to be. You had this big elaborate party. I did like the reveal that the little light show was actually the entity. But there wasn't much to it. Like it was a kind of a quick escape for Tom Cruise's character. Everybody just gets out. I thought the Elsa's knife fight, with her and her sword, and him with the two knives wasn't really that compelling. I don't know. I just didn't care for it. It's just the way, I don't know, somehow the way it was filmed. Just still looked like they were holding back. Didn't look like they were really trying to fight. And it just seemed kind of telegraphed that she was going to die. Just the series has kind of been known for killing off the female characters. So it wasn't that big of a surprise. And obviously, Haley Atwell's character hadn't really earned herself, a position of being part of the crew yet. So it was like kind of weird to kill off somebody established for somebody new. I thought the alley fight was okay. The little sequence between Tom Cruise and Paris and her other henchmen, it was okay. It was condensed. But they did do a good job with the tension and cutting back and forth, and you got multiple things going on at the same time. So I thought that part worked. Also, like early on in the airport too, I thought the tension was fantastic. You got this kind of cat and mouse game going with Ethan Hunt and all these operatives, and you got Grace's character doing her thing, and you got the entities messing around with everybody, and then you got the fake bomb. But that we thought it was all real at the time, so I thought that was really well done. Just cutting, every scene was tense, and just cutting back and forth I thought worked fantastic. Kind of felt like they were going to kill off somebody in that sequence. It just seemed like it was designed to kill off a character, and they didn't. So I was a little shocked they didn't do it there. Like that felt like more like a time to kill someone off a little bit more than when Elsa got killed. Although, like I said, you could see that was going to happen too. And then the weird thing is the most heavily promoted stunt in the movie And when you knew it was coming, you get excited and you're kind of on the edge of your seat because you know it's coming. It's the big motorcycle cliff jump. I said it was promoted before the movie. We know Tom Cruise really, jumped a motorcycle off a cliff. He practiced the hell out of it. And it's just the way it's edited. It's not that great. Like it's cool. You see him approaching. It's pretty obvious. By the way the camera changes. This is something special because it's like, they had to pull back with a special camera to get the motorcycle jump. They got a couple angles of it, and you don't get to see much else beyond that. It's like, okay, a little bit of him trying to get away from the mountain, and a little bit of the parachute, and then he just shows up crashing through the train. Like, I don't know, just the way it was edited. I don't think he got the full impact out of that, which has been a problem with these films. They do some of these amazing stunts sometimes, and some of the editing they got to do, and some of the CGI they got to do, and the hand stuff kind of kills it. Now, I don't want to start talking about all the old movies, but there's similar things in all the movies that kind of ruins Tom Cruise putting his life on the line because they had to embellish or to cut it a certain way. As far as the big train sequence, the fight on the top was fine. A lot of parts of it looked wonky. I know at least some of it was really guys fighting on top of a train, but the way it was filmed just didn't really look real a lot of times, especially when they're ducking under stuff going over their head or whatnot. The sequence where the train was dangling, a little unrealistic, but it was still a pretty cool sequence of Tom and them trying to climb back up out of this train. I thought that was pretty well done, although a lot of that looked CG as well. Like every time they shut down, it looked like they were on a green screen. I'm thinking probably a good chance that they were. I haven't seen the making of it at this point, but whatever. It still was a pretty tense scene. I thought especially Haley Atwell was selling her characters, being really scared out of her wits in the sequence. I thought that was really well done. And I thought everything wrapped up good enough. Like, it wasn't like a cliffhanger, like, shit, everyone's fucked. But it was a good cliffhanger, like, okay, it's not done yet. I kind of touched on it a little bit here and there. As far as the characters go, everybody's still fine. Kind of missed having Jeremy Renner's character back in it. Thing is, when Elsa died, like, I just didn't feel anything at all. Like, it was supposed to be, should have been an emotional moment. She's been in this franchise for a long time now. I didn't feel anything. I think it's the way Ethan Hunt's character is. Like, I don't know, just, you didn't feel bad for him. I would have felt bad maybe if it was like Benji or somebody getting killed more than Elsa, even though I liked her character. Just, I don't know, just the way the franchise has been. Like, he's kind of an odd character. It's like, so you just don't feel like the emotional beats like you should if someone close to them dies. But as I said, everyone else was fine. All the returning characters, I really loved Haley Atwell here. Her Grace was fantastic. I just liked her character. I liked her, going from being confident because she's in her element of pickpocketing to being way over her head and trying to do spy stuff. I thought she had great chemistry with Tom Cruise, and I think that was just more her, bringing the chemistry than her and Tom had that much legit chemistry. But they had a lot of little cute moments in some of the stunts, and they're handcuffed and trying to drive. Reminded me a little bit of like Tom Cruise's Day and Night with Cameron Diaz back in the day. But I thought it was just some little cute little moments. If you've never seen Haley Atwell in the Agent Carter TV series, I think you can see how much talent she had in there and how she was able to do like the spy stuff there and play different roles. So I think she brings that to the Mission Impossible franchise. I think she's going to be a pretty big breakout star at this point. I think the weakest point as far as characters was the new villain. Just, I don't know, he just didn't do it for me. Like, he didn't know his motivations. His big thing is like just smiling and looking all like nonchalant, even though he's probably about to cut your throat. It's just, he didn't sell the menace like to it. Like, he was supposed to be kind of like, oh, I'm smiling now, but you could tell I'm going to kill you. And you knew he was going to do that, but I didn't feel the menace. He just felt more like just a goofball henchman. Like, it wasn't the right character. I know they show some flashback how he was responsible for killing one of Ethan Hunt's like lady friends. I don't even remember when that took place. I'm not, I don't remember enough of the storyline for all these films to remember, what that was even about. They showed the clip. I'm like, okay, I guess I kind of remember this. Like, I don't remember him specifically, which is weird because originally he wasn't even in the movie. It was a completely different actor playing a different character, and that didn't work out, so they rewrote it. The Entity AI was fine. You're always kind of towing the line of this computer is so smart and looks at everything that it's basically predicting the future. And on one end, it's okay, I could see that. On the other end, it's like, okay, it predicted all this shit to the T, like, and then at exactly this point in time, you could fall off the train and land in the truck safely and get away. Like that kind of goes beyond, I think anything would be capable of. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a computer could calculate that, but I honestly don't think so. Not at this point. And just it's never explained like how and why it recruited, the bad guy to its side. And, like, what's he getting out of it exactly? And how does it even communicate with him? Does it send him emails? Does it pop on his little Apple Watch he was wearing? Like, there was a lot of plot holes as far as how he was really linked to this entity and how they were working together and what was going on and exactly what the entity wanted to do. Like, there was kind of like, I think that stuff needed to be clarified a little bit better, like how that worked. Like, we know the entity was like emailing people or whatever and pretending to be other people, but just I don't know how he even hooked up with this guy and decided to use him. Like, I'm assuming it was some kind of algorithm thing that it predicted that he would be a good choice to stop Ethan Hunt. I don't know. That part kind of that's where I lost points in this movie. If he would have been a little bit better bad guy and or things were a little bit more better explained, I think I could have gave this movie like a higher grade. I think it would have easily got about like a 4, and if you could have trimmed it down a touch, I think you could have gone higher. I think that's the gist of it. I'm sure there's stuff I wanted to mention that I didn't, but I think I got a lot of the spoiler stuff off my chest here. But other than that, like I said, I got the non-spoiler version of this. I got other reviews. I got comic strips. I got all that stuff at soundedbettermyhead.com. So if you want to check that out, that'd be great. Otherwise, thanks for watching.